Ugh. I don't like that it's changed to red now. That's kind of creepy. Oh, now it's a pretty pink color. Okay, I like that a lot more better. I also don't like the glitchy nature of it. And they all go very, very sadly and a little bit angry. A few more years passed. Although it wasn't a conflict between the three of them on the surface, the days didn't feel the same as they once had. In the last few years in the tank, time itself felt like it moved much slower than the years when they were enjoying life. There was a blanket of anxiety over nearly everything they did. They celebrated the holidays in the mountains of Suya, Actuary, RD, and beautification and gas normally, all without fault. On the surface, but the difference between these time periods was stark. No matter how much they tried forcing it, the events were never as jovial and full of wonder as before. The magic of the Golden Age had come and gone. All they were doing now was grasping for a little bit of pixie dust left behind. There was a dark cloud hanging over them, even as they did the most mundane activities together. Every word they spoke, every fun conversation they had, every game they played, and every invention they worked on together, now polluted by the intangible tension. It wasn't as though Neo and Lana loved Axie any less. They just wanted him to understand their feelings. They wanted him to accept their decision to move on, to seek new pastures. They were growing weary of the same life. The plants too began to wither up as Neo had predicted. Even the new rationing system couldn't stop the plants from drying up. And their bodies, they were starting to break down too. Not from old age, but from something worse. Now certain dread loomed and festered over the tank for a few years. And slowly but surely they began lacking in plants to do maintenance on the structures they had already created. The supply of plants to work with was peanuts compared to what it had once been. And as a result, projects which had before been so intensive dwindled in complexity as well. Eventually, Innovation Day was cancelled as a whole. It felt like Tech was somehow losing its life. And the two who were willing to move on to the next stage of their existence realized that fact separately. Not for their love of Axie, they would have made a move much sooner than they did. Neo and Lana got together several nights talking for hours optimistically about their futures. Sometimes they felt guilty, as if by having these meetings they were somehow betraying their friend. But the grander picture had been stretched too thin. They reassured one another that there must be better times ahead. You know, it's not like life is so much worse than before. But things have changed. I don't fall asleep content anymore. I don't wake up with a smile on my face, ready to make the most of the day. And it's not something I can just wish away either. I know what you mean. Things feel so dismal these days. It feels like lately when we all hang out, all I'm doing the whole time is forcing myself to act happy. I feel more like a crappy actor than an axolotl these days. Not even just the lack of plants or the tension between us that's bothering me either. I've been getting these awful headaches too, and my energy is not the same as it once was. Headaches, huh? Yeah, for a while now. Thought they'd just go away on their own, but they've been getting worse. Near felt a shiver down his spine. And all the time they had been here together, headaches had never been a normal thing. Except for somebody. And he too felt like his body had been acting optimally for some time lately. Tried to ignore it like she had, blame it on stress or whatever, but if Lana was feeling something too. Now that you mention it, I've been feeling kinda dizzy these days too. Exhausted, maybe. The old nightmare I used to have, they've returned too. Due to that and waking up in pain these past few months, it feels like I haven't gotten a good rest in some time. You haven't been sleeping well? Neo? I haven't been sleeping so great either, actually. Feels like no matter how much rest I get, I wake up feeling like crap. It's never been like this before. Well, let's do what we've done with every other problem we've ever experienced in the tank. Analyze things objectively and come up with a solution. We've all slept in different places in the tank over the years. Do you happen to have a specific area which you sleep better? Honestly, the big bed in my corner is where I sleep best, but only when we all sleep in there together as a family. I always wake up really fresh whenever we spend a night there together. I was hoping you'd say that, because I feel the same way. Something about that place is so peaceful. It's been a while since we all cuddled together and slept, huh? Nearly half a decade if my count is right. Yeah, I missed it. It once been a normal occurrence, but sleeping in the bed together becomes somewhat of a special tradition. When they slept together there, it was always after naturally passing out at the end of a particularly memorable day, such as the ending of one of their long role-playing campaigns. I didn't realize it until now, the bed had been a part of their most wholesome moments. 3 axolotls cuddled and fell asleep together there several times over the years, but it had always been the 3 of them. Wanna try taking a nap? I guess. But, it might be weird doing this without Axie. Yeah. Then again, these days, it might be weirder to do this with him. He sure kept to his own lately, huh? Probably not too much fun without plants to work with. Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. It's not like I don't love him, but... No, you don't have to say it. I understand. I still love him too. So, what are we waiting for? Let's try to de-stress and get some good sleep for once. Chill out and start things over with a refreshed mind once we wake up. Doesn't that sound nice? Don't sound too caring now. You don't want to steal my style. He smiled. They felt each other's warmth, and closed their eyes. But after 2 hours of lying there, Lana spoke up. Nothing, huh? Nope. I'm wide awake too. I've been thinking, maybe these headaches aren't coming from the stress, or the lack of sleep specifically. Is it just me, or has the water felt kind of heavy lately? The water? I haven't really been paying attention. Because you hadn't consciously realized it, neither didn't know until now. So I had to swim forward, and in that moment, I could feel a pinch of exhaustion strike him right at his core. That was weird. He'd been feeling odd surely, but this amount of exhaustion was unreal. His body's starting to lose strength. He felt sick all over. There's nothing he wanted to do more than lay down again. In fact, it felt like his body was begging him to do so. You're correct. Water, the air, the atmosphere. Something feels heavy. This isn't right. Been in here too damn long. I know this body too damn well. I think it might be time to talk to him. Yeah, as they turned around, they saw Axie was already there. Sleeping? Oh, hey Axie. Neil and I weren't feeling so well, so we tried getting in some sleep. I see. So, Axie, we were wondering, how do you feel today? Right now? How do I feel? What do you mean? Well, a moment ago, Neil and I were, talking about how we hadn't been feeling so great lately. I feel fine. Are you sure? Yep. It's just another day and I feel just fine. Though you seem to have lost all your colour, which is, kind of alarming. But it wasn't normal and they could see that. His skin, which was always vibrant and full of colour, looked off and dull today. Knew something terrible was going on, even if Axie himself had been trying his best to ignore it. You might be fine, but Neo and I have been experiencing some very odd sensations lately. It's like we want to do things, but we can't. I'm extremely tired, but no matter how much sleep we get, we still wake up exhausted. It feels like a weight has been slowly lifted onto my chest. I have no idea how it even got there in the first place. Yeah, for me it's like 60 years of aging all hit at once. But if we were aging, we'd have a different appearance, I think. I don't want to feel old and weary. There's a fog around us. We might not be able to see it yet, but it's there all the same. Alright, let's just, for the sake of prosperity, then I believe you. About this fog or whatever. What would be the cause of a fog to suddenly form? We've been living in the tank for ages now. Ages and ages. What could have changed now? Nothing. Nothing has changed. You're all overreacting. Whatever might be happening to you guys is just a small bump. I'm sure everything will just go back to normal soon. I don't know if it's that simple. We can't just wish away this weight in our chests. I think it's starting to make us really sick. Honestly, it's starting to sound like what Liam was going through. Remember Liam, don't you? Yeah, but Liam was the only one sick, not us. What you just said a second ago. There has been a change in the tank. Follow me. Oh yeah, the plants. Just as he thought, just as he feared. Pieces of floor was drying up completely, and the plants were withering away with it. They were only remnants of what had bloomed there before. I'm starting to see a correlation. This is only an idea, but maybe all this time the plants have been keeping us alive. It seemed like a likely explanation to Lana too. Actually, she had thought the same thing many times in the past. Could the plants have been cleaning the water in the tank? Is the whole reason we're alive in the first place because of these wonderful plants? I see. Now the plants outfielder is dying out. And along with them, so are we. I actually stepped up. If this theory of yours really is true, then how do you explain that? It gestured towards the direction of the void. It was a single hour of the day where the triplets were awake. They zigzagged and weaved through the building, swinging erratically at top speed. Why hadn't they been affected by this so-called lack of energy? This weight or brain fog or whatever. Well, Who knows? It could be a lot of reasons. They might not be affected because they are young. Could be because they eat the plants on a regular basis. Even if we were all axolotls, the triplets have always been a very different sort than us. They don't have the same needs as us, and they live a very different life from us. Maybe if we make the kids stop eating the plants, then they might grow back. You ever think of that? I can't say for sure, but I don't think that'll work either. Triplets have already proven they're too fast for us to control. And besides, we don't know if they need those plants to live or not. This patch may be drying up, but we may be experiencing some terrible symptoms. But there's still enough plants in the tank for them at least to live on them for a very long time. Look, just give it some time, you guys. Things will go back to normal somehow, I'm sure. They always have. Just don't do anything weird, alright? Axel swam off and left them alone. With that, the gap between the three of them widened even more. The days which had once been so precious now became dreadful to get through. Lana and Nia felt helpless. They loved Axie too much to do anything. So for a while they pushed themselves. For the next 3 months they pushed themselves out of bed and tried to attend to their regular activities. But at night they suffered silently. Held on for his sake. Leaving the tank didn't seem right without being on good terms with Axie. And while he frequently kept to himself in the last few months, at least he seemed to be doing okay. They, on the other hand, were having the worst time of their entire lives. Their bodies began to get weaker each day. They would swim less, they were talking less. Insomnia was horrifying. Even though they hadn't ever eaten, their stomachs began to rumble and weigh down on them, and their throats began to hurt in kind. Minds, their thoughts, ideas, the communication skills which they had taken for granted, all began to fade as well. Construction? That was completely out of the question. Swimming itself soon became a luxury. Some days they could only make it a couple of feet away. Other days they couldn't leave at all. I actually avoid them on those dead days. More and more they sat hunched over inside the lab, unable to move, able to think correctly. Started to shiver. Water wasn't always as cold, was it? With their throats hurting, their backs and stomachs aching, they could only imagine someone was trying to choke them, slowly, allowing them just enough air to live, but not enough for any quality of life. Then started the hallucinations. They imagined someone was watching them. They attempted to comfort each other, but even that didn't work. One day they stared at each other, each realizing that they didn't have the strength to speak. But for most of the days, most of the time, they were lucid enough to talk. In hushed whispers, when they had the strength to communicate, decided upon a plan. The day of the plan approached quickly. Neo, I think it's time. The days had been agonizingly slow lately. They were even starting to lose perspective of how great the Golden Age truly was. But, Axie, we haven't decided what we should do. Do we drag him in there with us? Even if he doesn't realize it, soon enough he'll be just as sick as we are. But if he really doesn't want to come, you'll just have to find a solution from inside the void and bring it back to him. Hey, one more question, Lana, while I have the energy. It's about that feeling that we're being watched. Do you still feel it too? Yeah, a little. But it's got to be a delusion. I felt like the weaker you got, the more likely it was that a bloodthirsty eye would pounce out of nowhere, take him away. Was something like that in the tank the whole time, and they had never noticed? That just wasn't possible. The time to act is now. I'd rather not take my chances jumping into the void than deal with another second of this. If we die, then we'll die. But I want to live. I'll fight as hard as I can for that chance. I've been thinking a lot about Liam lately too. Is that what we're experiencing is similar to what happened to him all those years ago? Maybe. I miss him more than ever. And the suffering he went through probably makes ours look like kittens on a rainy day. Not fair to compare suffering, remember? Man, he'd have loved everything we made in this tank. All the buildings, the amusement centers, the inventions. I was scared of forgetting about him in the past. But those two, Liam and Hank, they're unforgettable. So is that other character, even if I've never seen his face. The one who calls himself RB. One who promised to take you home, huh? The tank was my home, but I'd like a new home now. Gather up your strength. Our last swim is close. It's finally time to enter the void. They were well aware that they were dying, and they would risk their last remaining moments on the gamble of a lifetime. If they were able to enter through the void freely, then they would come back to help Axie and the triplets. Lack of clean water wasn't prejudiced. Eventually it would get them too. Before everyone succumbed to the sickness, they needed to help them. They would save everyone. That was their hope, anyway. Confrontation. Yeah, well, here's to hoping that things go well, but if it has anything to do with the void, it doesn't end well, at least. I definitely don't like the pulsating noises. So, this is it. Huh? They took in the sights one last time. It was a huge toll for them to be talking out in the open waters, but despite their body's protests, this was something they knew they had to do. The layout of the tank had changed drastically throughout the years. They had built it from nothing and turned it into a grand city, and then smashed that city down a number of times to try a different look. But even if the tank had seen a number of aesthetic in its time, what they saw now could only be described as a mess. Even if many of the buildings were starting to decay, these are still the remnants of some fairly impressive looking structures. To say farewell was hard. The plants had allowed them to focus their willpower to create nearly anything they had ever dreamed of. I'm a little biased, but I think you, me and Naxi, the three of us, we did a pretty great job in here. What are you going to miss the most? Well, I always liked pretending to shop. Do you remember the time we went when you and Axie built an entire bouquet for me in total secrecy? Yeah, that sure was a pain hiding it from you all those months, making up excuses and pretending to do other things. You led me to the mall as I was blindfolded and what I assumed was just another game and yelled surprise. It was quite a shock, you know. I had no idea you guys had been planning something for so long. You two treated me like a VIP, told me I could pick any 2 items in the shop and keep them forever. It was a small touch, but I really liked how you guys didn't let me keep everything. It made the 2 items that I did keep seem special. Me, that day stands out as a wonderful memory. It was so sweet. So incredibly sweet. You guys went to that much trouble just to give me a special day for no reason. Hey now, you did equally impressive things for me. And the 2 of us together did equally impressive things for Axie. Let me ask you then, what was one of your favorite moments? Geez, there's too many to pick really. Do you remember the wizard back here? Oh, of course. That campaign was one of the best we ever had. Yeah. We had a lot of long role-playing adventures over the years, but that one really had it all. Betrayal, romance, action, long developing plots and mysteries. The payoff at the end was amazing. A good story is something incredible. That campaign succeeded in immersing me in a whole different world. It was a fun couple of years. Playing the Kingdom of Glass with you two was really something special. It always makes me wonder what happened after the end of the demo. Yeah. We worked on that campaign so long, sometimes I forget it was based on that old VR demo. But, I mean, it was the only basis and setting. Everything else we just made up along the way. The Hero Thief and the Lowly Healer. Remember they had some cameo appearances too. Yeah, I only brought them in as NPCs, but there was, at one time, they were part of an important subplot. Remember? Looking around, it's hard to wrap my mind around all the priceless experiences we had in here. There's just too many to count. Let's get going, Neo, while we can still swim. She held out her hand and took it, and together, for the last time, they walked towards the void. They swam slowly. Not just because their bodies ached, but because they were taking in all the familiar sights along the way, trying to etch them into their memory, just in case they were unable to return. It needs to be said, they did not look for Axie because they knew exactly where he'd be. Yep, there he is. I don't think there's any way to stop them now from going in there. Yeah, so... well, this is awkward. Axie, we love you. You know that we do. But we've given you plenty of warning, and now it's time. Our bodies aren't going to last much longer here. But we'll come back as soon as we're able to. We'll save you and the triplets. That's a promise. I don't need saving. The kids don't need saving. But neither you need to go into the void. I'm telling you, just wait it out. Don't do something stupid. Withering and dying here would be the stupid thing to do. You've got to struggle. Put up a fight. We don't know what's in the void. Not really. How many times do I have to tell you? There's only madness and death in there. I don't think so. Not if Ink was able to come back from it. Look, even if it is just death, we gotta take the shot. I won't let you. Make a deal with me. 1 week. We can't do that either. Our bodies and minds are barely holding on as it is. It's now or never. You're not gonna go on another killing spree, are ya? I guess I'll never. Actually, no. You especially, Lana. Definitely not you. Oh, I thought the obsession you had for me went away centuries ago. Axie's angry face did not falter, even at a joke. I love you, Lana. But if you die, then it feels like I just might die too. You're more important than even my own life. If there was one thing that could motivate Axie, it was Lana's safety. All those years ago when Ink and Axie had their first struggle, it was specifically Ink being Lana that caused Axie to blow up. It was when Ink mentioned throwing Lana into the void. That was what caused his anger to be unleashed. And even though it had been a while, this same sort of madness crept up on him again, giving him power. Yeah, I definitely don't like where this is going. Ow, my eyes. I will never let you go in there. Axie charged towards them at once the pair braced for impact. Axie, stop it. We can't waste energy fighting amongst ourselves. But Axie knew. He would rather knock them unconscious than let them into the void. There are two of us. We'll overcome you. The fact that the two of them were winning, despite their weakened state, said it all. It was clearer than ever to them that Axie had been suppressing his own sickness. They felt his body breathing heavily, and his strength weakening. It didn't look like this was going to be a long struggle. Neil and Lana were just about to break, though. Axie, I promise this doesn't change anything. One little fight doesn't mean anything. We've had fights before. All of us. This is just another one for the books. When we next meet, we'll talk about this and make up as we always have. A cacophony of coughs. All their painful expulsions of air mixed together. Neo felt his chest heaving up and down, threatening to explode. But tug-of-war was soon to be over, and Axie had begun to realize his defeat. I won't let you guys die. What will I do without you? You have to trust us, Axie. After all this time, haven't we earned your trust? But then... oh, fuck. Lana and Neo were pushed back by an unexpected force. What the... oh, the triplets. Standing next to Axie were three figures. The triplets. Ra, and Lee. Kids, this is not a game. But even if it had been a game, the kids had never joined in before. So why now? Right, darlings. Just know that we're in big trouble if we don't enter the void. We're doing it for your sakes too, so you have to move out the way for now. I'm sorry we didn't get to say goodbye to you guys, but it's not a real goodbye. We'll be back soon. All of a sudden, they, along with Axie, ran into the two weak Axolotls with an incredibly strong force. It was now 2 versus 4, and Lana and Neo knew they didn't stand much of a chance against these odds. I don't get it. They barely acknowledged us before. Why are you guys pushing against us? It's because they can't stand to see you kill yourselves either. No, it's the opposite, kids. You'll die if we stay here. No, at this rate, we're going to lose. But we can't give up. We've got to keep fighting with everything we got. It wasn't a fair match. The 3 triplets were much stronger than they looked. Even if Lana and Neo had been at their fullest strength, the triplets could have easily overpowered them. So in the States they had no chance. Neo and Lana were thrown back, huffing and puffing. Why? What are you? No. No escape. So close. Become. Optimal conditions have become. unoptimal. Neo was doing his best to fend off the Axie, just Axie, but he could do nothing for Lana, who was surrounded. It's time that you become us. 3 of them grabbed onto weakened legs. 2 on one leg and 1 on the other. And then they pulled. Oh no, it's fucking happening again. It's another Liam situation. Oh fuck. Not the legs. Not the legs again. Like, why does that always be the fucking legs that have to be ripped off before we get sent in? There was a loud crack as she winced in pain. She let out a deafening scream. What? Neo and Axie stopped fighting the second they heard the crack. The kids had, in a matter of seconds, torn the legs cleanly off her body. A stream of blood flowed through the water, muddying everyone's vision. What the hell? I didn't want... What? They tossed her off to the side. Neo ran as fast as he could, even to get her. You guys, I don't get it. Useful before, useless now. We've been in here long enough to gain strength. The territory is going to be ours now. Knew they couldn't be fucking trusted. No, Lana. Lana. Lana? Get away from Lana. Hank, Liam, what the hell is going on? Was this your plan all along? His mind was racing. He had no time to piece things together. So near helping an unconscious Lana a few meters away. Still breathing. At least right now, Axie could see she was still breathing. The void was wide and towering. Thankfully, there were many ways to enter through it. Near limped and grasping Lana made it even hard to swim, but he still went as fast as he possibly could, heart pounding. Despite Axie shoving against him, despite the triplets ripping off Lana's limbs, it looked like they might get into the void after all. There needs to be a way to save her. But the triplets were nothing else fast swimmers. Possibilities unfolded quickly in Axie's mind. The triplets had got there first, then that would be it. They had lied to him. Their plan was to keep them here, so... what? That didn't matter. The only thing that mattered right now, the only thing that made any sense, was to save Lana and Neo. He had to swim, 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 swim. It was a mad sprint. He had to get there first. If he didn't, then his family would die in a matter of seconds. When they saw him swimming alongside them, the triplets split up. Two went to go after Neo and Lana, one stayed to take care of Axie. Of course it's you. It was air. Out of my way. Axie charged forward, slamming into air, tumbling them both further along the path. Air sunk his teeth into whatever body part was nearest to him. It happened to be Axie's tail. Axie's immediate instinct was to wince in pain, but his body let out a cough instead. But then he gritted his teeth. You want my tail so bad, then take it. It was a lucky thing that air bit onto his tail, not another part of his body. Alright, he can do the fucking somersault! The strength of Axie's leg pushing off of Air's head for momentum, he charged forward, the tip of his tail being shredded off in the process. The momentum that he gained from a big push wasn't worth any amount of pain. It would let him reach his family a moment sooner. He was moving fast, but not fast enough. You could see up ahead that Ra and Lee were almost there. Lana. She's going to really die because of me. That's not true yet, Axie. There's nothing more I can do, is there? In this very moment, she's not dead. You still have time. And you still have energy. You've won almost every single race you've ever had in this tank. You even beat the triplets once, didn't you? They're already there. One lost race has never stopped you. You always challenge whomever has beaten you again and again. I don't care about that damn race. I care about Lana. Now move out of the way. Lana, Neo, and Ra and Lee all stood in front of the void. Ra and Lee already had a firm grasp on Neo and Lana. All would have been lost if not for Axie's momentum. He gave it his all. He pushed and wheezed and gasped and ultimately charged into them hard and fast. Somehow, this was enough to move all four of them. No, all five of them, with Axie included, into the cascading void in front of them. In that brief second, as they hurled towards their uncertain futures, Neo and Axie made eye contact. Thank you, Axie. We love you. Please come with us. I thought we could, but I was wrong. We won't be able to do this. Without you. Neo spent decades wondering about the void, theorizing, yearning to know more. And at last, he dissolved into it, Lana in his arms. Axie looked around. He too had fallen into the void, but he hadn't disappeared as Neo and Lana had done. It was the spinning image of that day, so long ago. Everything around him was nothingness, and his immediate reaction was panic. Quickly he realized he had dragged the two triplets in here with him as well. And despite his aching, despite his total exhaustion, Axie began fuming. How could you? How could you lie to me? Axie, we didn't want to reveal ourselves at this time, but now we gotta. We remember the void, and if Lana and Neo were to go into it, they'll almost certainly die. Please, don't let them hurt themselves. You have to promise. As someone who has been in the void, you know just how horrifying it is in there. It's a fate worse than death. It was a miracle we made it here. Yes, you're right. I did used to be Ink, but I've changed. Thanks to the love you give me. And me, I'm Liam. As for me, well, you've read about me. Of course, he's not gonna exactly find out what his actual name is. Thank you for building all these wonderful things for me, Axie. Just like you said, just like you thought, I've adored them. Please keep our identities a secret from them. We'll reveal ourselves when we're ready. We trust you, Axie. Trust you to save our family. That was all a lie, wasn't it? You guys weren't Ink or Liam. So who are you? The Eye. The ever-watchful Eye. Counterintelligence? A cancer? A cure? No. Eternal clippings. That's it. I don't understand. Are you hurting us? Much easier. But the tankers are already near death. So Albie will have to make a choice. Come. I went towards him and Axie backed away. Wait, is this eye a different entity to Albie? Because I thought Albie and this eye might have been the same thing, but maybe this eye is what Albie is trying to fight a war against, maybe? All alone, cornered in the void. At that moment, he felt a sense of helplessness dawn over him. What's stopping you from joining the others? Because he's not ready yet. I don't know how. This body isn't letting me, just like last time. Just cough it up. You're sick, aren't you? You need to accept that and learn to trust yourself. I guess you're right. Even if I try to ignore it. So cough it up quick. They're almost here. There was something stuck in his throat. Hopefully it's nothing too gross or obscene. He puked, and out came himself? Just like that time all those years ago. Thank you, Axie. And almost immediately, you feel his body starting to disassemble itself. Instead of fighting the darkness, you decide to try and embrace it. But before I leave, I know you. You want us to do one last somersault, don't you? Oh, of course, we're gonna do frickin' somersault. He tried, but his body was in the process of leaving, and aside from all that, it was too weak right now. Oh, damn. Then I'll just have to do one for you. Wait, you still get to do it? That's what family is for. Axie smiled. He would listen to his gut. If I can't do a somersault now, then this must not be the end. Let me do one for you. It's the least I could do. Do we get to press S to somersault? Hell yeah! S to escape! Bye bye! Yay! We did it! One last somersault before we all fucking die and be sent to hell. Wherever hell may be. But man, that was a very dark end to Act 3.